August 1st, 1914. Berlin, Germany. After the Russians ordered general mobilization on July 30th, German leader Kaiser Wilhelm II issues a proclamation of war, effectively beginning World War I. Though, you might argue the war actually began on July 28th, when Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, or maybe on July 25th, when Serbia declared general mobilization, or maybe on July 23rd, when Austria-Hungary delivered the July ultimatum to Serbia, or maybe a month earlier, when Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated while visiting Sarajevo, or maybe, well, you get the picture. For the sake of this story, we're going to say it began with Wilhelm's declaration of war, because that's the argument we're going to make. It's all his fault. Anyway, almost 3,800 miles away in Cambridge, Massachusetts, legendary exhibition shooter Annie Oakley receives the news of the war declaration and thinks, damn, I could have killed that bastard in the 1890s. We don't have evidence of her actually thinking that, but she is quoted later as saying, if I shot the Kaiser, I might have saved the lives of several millions of soldiers. But what does that actually mean? How does one get the chance to shoot a Kaiser? It happens because the Kaiser was an emotionally unstable individual who always seemed to be out to prove his manhood, which some historians believe stemmed from a birth defect that left his left arm crippled, thus impeding his emotional development as a child. It also happens because from 1889 to 1892, Annie Oakley was on a European tour with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. During this time, she performed a trick with her husband Frank Butler, where he put a lit cigarette in his mouth and she shot the ashes off of it. Apparently, at some point, Wilhelm either heard of or saw this feat and decided he needed to take part in it himself. So, when the show was in Berlin, he surprised Oakley by stepping into the arena and challenging her to shoot the ashes off of his cigarette while he was smoking it. Or while he was holding it in his hand. Accounts differ on where the Kaiser actually held the cigarette. Either way, Oakley successfully performed the trick, and Wilhelm II walked away unharmed, to continue his militaristic push and eventually launch one of the deadliest wars in human history. At least that's what we want you to believe here, because that's the argument we're trying to make. But is it the right argument? A simple Google search of the phrase, "Is Kaiser Wilhelm to blame for World War I?" finds many articles about the subject, from reputable sources and countless historians, essentially saying the same thing. The factors behind the beginning of the war were numerous, from specific world leaders to railroad timetables. Yes, as the leader of Germany, Wilhelm was a major contributing factor in the buildup of the war and its beginning, but placing the blame solely on him is a bit short-sighted. So, could Annie Oakley have prevented World War I with a single bullet? Maybe? But it seems like a bit of a long shot. What's your favorite bit of firearm history? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to check out our new series, Legendary Firearms, every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time on YouTube. I'm Christopher Pilney.